Hey, it's Drop Jiggler and we are at Nyavasikana Wilderness Campsite. Nyavasikana is in the south of Gonarezhou National Park at the confluence of the Mwenezi and Nuanetsi rivers. Now there's several entrances to Gonarezhou National Park, so there's several ways to get here. You can come all the way from Chipinda Pools, or you can come via the Sango border post, for example, if you're coming through Mozambique, but there are several entrances and ways to get here. The roads in this area of the park are pretty easily traversable with almost any vehicle. You need a sensible amount of clearance, and I'm talking about the dry season, of course. In the wet season, there may be a bit of wet clay from time to time. We came here from Chipinda Pools and Chiloja Cliffs as well, and along the way went through a couple of checkpoints where they confirmed our reservation details. The roads in this area are quite suitable for a trailer or caravan, off-road trailer of course, or off-road caravan. You generally don't want to try these roads in Gonarezhou with a normal road-going caravan. So what will you find at this campsite? There's a long drop, and that's pretty much it. This is a wilderness campsite. There is a little makeshift fire pit here, which we found when we got here and which we've slightly improved to contain our fire as well. But that's about it. It's pretty much just an open campsite under this beautiful massive tree over here. And you've got a long drop and you've got a riverfront view. There's plenty of shade. There's plenty of space as well. I'd say the cleared area of this campsite is probably 30 to 40 meters by 30 to 40 meters. It's a lot of space. There's no electricity, there's no lighting, there's no running water, potable or otherwise. I wouldn't recommend drinking from the river. These rivers do endemically have bilharzia in them, so you've got to be careful of that too. There's no braai and there's no constructed fire pit. As I said, there is a makeshift fire pit. The long drop is a semi-open air facility. It's got a set of logs around it that provide some privacy, but there's no roof. The long drop is in good condition and quite clean. The time that we've been here, it's actually been very good. Of course, you must remember toilet paper because there's no toilet paper in the long drop. You've got to bring your own. You can buy wood at Mabalauta, and that's about the only thing that you can purchase here. You've pretty much got to bring everything you need with you. There are no towns nearby here. You've got to drive a fair distance to get to any town, and Gonarezhou is probably the nearest town of significance where you can get supplies from. This is an unfenced wilderness campsite. We've heard hyena, we haven't heard any lions, although we have seen a large herd of buffalo, so I wouldn't be surprised if there are lion here as well. There's almost certainly going to be leopard as well in the area. We've had absolutely no interactions with any of the wildlife so far. They haven't come into the campsite. We've seen monkeys, we've seen baboons, we've seen a number of antelope species. There are crocs in the river. We haven't seen any hippos. It is, like I said, an unfenced wilderness campsite. The gate times as apply to the rest of Gonarezhou also apply when you're in a wilderness camp, so you must be in your campsite between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. in the winter, and that's slightly later and earlier in the summer. If you're driving into Gonarezhou via the Kruger National Park and the Sango border post in Mozambique, then this is a great stopover location. Likewise, if you're driving the other way around as well. So it's very nicely positioned as a transition type campsite if you're driving through that route or in one of those directions. Maintenance-wise, there's not much to maintain. Of course, it's pretty much just a long drop, and we found that to be very clean in the time that we're here. So the maintenance is good. I'm not so certain about the makeshift fire pit though. We did find it when we came here and that hadn't been cleared out. So it's not entirely clear whether this is now just a fire pit that people keep using. It's now become the fire pit, but we have used it in situ as well. Stuff to do here, of course, you can go on drives to see wildlife. We're also right at the riverfront, so it's quite nice to just sit here at the riverfront as well. You can fish as well, and I have done some fishing here. It's a very nice spot for fishing. So if you're into that sort of activity, this is a great site for that. Be careful, there are crocodiles. I've seen several crocodiles in the Mwenezi River right outside our camp here in the water, so I wouldn't recommend swimming. There's a lot of bird life as well, but this is fairly thick, dense woodland. relatively short woodland, but it is woodland all the same. So the birds are quite difficult to spot, but there are a number of species of birds here, and there are also several waterfowl species as well in the river. Lots of white-fronted bee-eaters in particular, and there are a number of holes in the sides of the riverbank, so they're obviously nesting over here, and they are in quite significant numbers. So notable, as I've said before, it's an unfenced campsite, so you've got to take due precaution, especially at night. I would recommend that you stay within the campsite at night. If you walk out into the bush, well, you may have an encounter that you don't want to have. But generally, it's a pretty chilled campsite. It's far from everywhere. We haven't seen anyone. We've heard, I think, a vehicle maybe twice on the road that comes to the campsite, but that's several hundred meters away in a straight line from here. So it's a very quiet and secluded, exclusive campsite. According to the rules in the park, you're not allowed to stray more than 150 meters from your site. That's on foot. So that does give you adequate coverage to go and do some fishing. What type of camper is this for? You've got to be 100% self-sufficient. You've got to have your own wood, your own water. Well, you can buy wood, but you've got to have your own water. You've got to have your own food. You've got to bring your own lighting if you need lighting. You've got to be able to survive out here on this campsite for a couple of days, however long you're going to camp here, with zero facilities except a long drop. So, quick recap. What is here? A long drop, lots of shade, beautiful riverfront view where you can go fishing. What's not here? No toilets, no bathroom, no water, no electricity, no lighting, basically very little else besides the long drop and the shade and the riverfront view. Booking is via email or by telephone call, as with the rest of the campsites in Gonarezhou, and I've put the details down below. So would I recommend this campsite? Yes, I would. If you're the type of person that enjoys this kind of situation, we've enjoyed very much being here. It really is nice to be in an exclusive use campsite out in the wilderness. Nobody's come around. We felt very secluded, and that's been a great experience. If you'd like amenities, then you've probably got to try the other campsites. Chinguli campsite, for example, is very nice. You can also fish there. They've got a lovely bathroom set up, and you can also go to Chipinda pools, for example. So there are other sites within Gonarezhou that you can try if this is a bit too much wilderness for you. So I hope you found that informative. If you did, hit the like button, leave a comment below if you would like to, ask a question if you would like to. It's always great to get feedback from you guys. If you haven't subscribed, do subscribe, check out the other videos as well. And thanks to everyone that has subscribed, appreciate your support of the channel. Buy me a coffee as well if you'd like to, 100% voluntary. There is a link below too. And until the next episode, go everywhere, see everything, have a great time.